Hey y'all.
Hey, we're back. We're back. We're back. This is season 5, episode 8, sweetest thing.
So, y'all, I just want to say before we get started and before we get into all of it, this was a really, really cute episode. I really enjoyed everything that went on. So, I think I will start with the Jake and Gemma scene, which was very, very sweet, but also very, very emotional. And I promise this will not be a long review. But it's Valentine's Day in Shyland. So all the guys are going to get their better halves Valentine's Day cards. Of course, that's a must.
Something that I would do,
Of course, that's a must. Like, what the hell? Anyway, Jake
of course.
gets Gemma a Valentine's Day card and he takes it to her, of course. And Gemma's still going through her thing of losing a baby and she gonna be going through that for a while. And so he brings the card into her room. Of course, she's still laying in her bed with that Whitney Houston sparkle bonnet on. But anyway, moving on. Um, he gives her the card. She thanks him, and he's getting ready to walk out the door for school. And then he decides to stay, which I thought was really thoughtful.
Yeah, I did too.
Considering everything she's going through and he's going through as well. So I thought that was real thoughtful to put that to the side just for a moment and stay there and comfort her. So they was talking about this dream she had about their baby, and Jake asked her, was a part of her relieved that she lost it, and she got kind of upset, which is understandable.
Which is understandable.
And
Yeah, very understandable. That because me personally, I felt like Jake, that wasn't the time. That was not the time. That I know that you didn't know at that time, but that was not the time to be like, was you kind of relieved?
yeah, because
You slipped up on that one.
it just happened, so that wasn't the time to bring that up. And that's why she got a little salty. And he was like, well, I just know that you didn't want it. And it's true, she didn't want it. But she changed her mind. So that just wasn't the right time to talk about that. Especially when she's going through all this. Like, that's the last thing she wants to be asked right now.
Yeah,
And she was like, we was bonding with the baby or whatever. And he was asking, like, was it a boy or a girl? And she was like, well, does it matter? And I'm like, no, but he just wanted to ask. I feel like Jake and Gemma can't really have a conversation right now because she's
consider
too.
considering the fact that she is still going through this. This is not. This wasn't the time to have the conversation about the baby. This was the time for you to just sit there and comfort her.
He's like, well, I feel like everything I say is wrong, and I understand where he coming from, but at the same time, can't go there right now because we have to comfort her. And I'm not saying that his feelings don't matter or his feelings don't mean anything, but when you carrying a baby and you lose it, it could be a very traumatic experience.
Yeah,
So
very dramatic.
he's just gonna have to like be patient because it's not gonna be about him for a while. And he's just gonna have to stomach that. That's gonna be tough. And it's gonna feel like she's pushing him away and all these different things. But
Yeah,
he's going to have to just stomach it for a while. It'll get better, but it won't be better for some time.
right. It's just like when you. I'm gonna put this out there. It's just like when you your first time like with a woman. I'm speaking from a male's perspective. It's not. It's the first time. It's everything. So you feel like whatever. But yeah. Um. I want to talk about the scene with Tiffany coming over to see Emmett. She came over. She had this white jacket on with this with a zipper on it. She zipped it down, trying to get Emmett to have sex with her, and he was just like, "Nah." But here's my thing, Tiff. You're upset because he moved on with somebody else, and I don't never understand that. You moved on to somebody else. So why are you getting upset that he moved on to somebody else?
Or maybe I can help you out since you don't really understand and really grasp the concept. Me speaking as a woman myself, it's just a case of wow. Cause I'm gonna put this out here and somebody might not agree with it. Hey, it is what it is. Men can move on a lot quicker than women can. Cause once the relationship is over, it's over for the man. Like it's done. Like, okay, on to the next. Women don't necessarily have that mentality to move on as quickly as a man will. And now I'm not saying that gives Tiff the right to act the way that she acts. I'm just saying.
And like we gonna find out on episode 9 how her boyfriend feels about this. Because why would you like you moved on but you didn't expect him to move on? And I'm speaking from a male's perspective because I'm gonna get a little personal in this video, just a little bit. Mhm. But my ex, she said I wasn't gonna find nobody that deal with my attitude. She said I wasn't gonna find nobody to deal with my constant emotional roller coaster. And for a while, I thought that that was true. But when I met Jazz, and she was like, I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. All that stuff. I was just like, wow, this is surprising. But then my ex started to be mad, like, oh, you moved on to somebody, you moved on to that to that how or whatever. And I was just like, uh yeah, kind of. Yeah. I moved on. And that's my thing. Like, I don't get that part. If I can move on if you. She had a whole nother dude. You know what I'm saying? That she moved on to, but she didn't expect. She expected me to be alone.
I mean, and I don't think it's the fact that Emmett moved on. It's just that he moved on with your friend. And what it is he seems way happier with Keisha than he ever was with you. And that can sting. And even though that sounds petty as fuck,
It does. It
it's
does.
like a,
Why? But why is it? Why does it sting so bad? You didn't want me.
but it's
My girl. My girl. She was acting like tough, acting just like this, and it's just like, wow, you're really upset. You're really bothered, and it's just like, really?
but I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I think it's totally within the realm of it just happened. Like it's not like Keisha and Emmett been back together for some years, and it's
I
been
ge- I
it
get
just
it.
happened. It just happened 5 minutes ago.
I understand what
Like
you're saying. I understand that, but you had to know that he was gonna move on and find him somebody that loves him.
okay, I understood that, but not 5 minutes later.
Yes, we know how to move on quick.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell y'all the real story of what happened to him. First of all, she did not move on after him. She moved on while she was with him. She moved on during the relationship. Since he want to get all manly and everything, why don't we just put the real story out here? Since he want to be talking about, well, men know how to move on and do this and do that. Okie dokie. Okay. She moved on during him. And I felt bad for him. The fact that he was being whole cheated on all up and down, and the girl was happy.
yes, she moved on during the relationship. Yes, she did. But I was in love with her. And that makes Jasmine sick to her stomach every time I say that. That makes her sick to her stomach. It's just like she can't
Like
take
I don't
it.
know how I don't know how you can love a woman that was in love with somebody else, but we'll just move on
Yeah.
because it's like I'm. I mean, I get both sides of the coin. I get Emmett like, hey, I done moved on. I'm I'm good. I love you as the mother of my child and all of that. But I'm good with Keisha.
Yeah. And I feel like he's a lot happier with Keisha than with Tim.
And just because he doesn't do anything with Tiff doesn't necessarily mean that him and Keisha is gonna work out. But he wants to give his relationship a real chance. And that's what you have to do. And that's what I had to tell this guy to the left. Like you gotta give this thing a real shot. Like you can't be your ex can't be lurking around and sending you love songs in the inbox and
Cause
doing
she was doing all that at the beginning of me and Jazz relationship.
and he
And
was like,
Jazz had a problem with that.
and he's like, well,
Cause
my ex is my friend, and I'm like, I get that, but those are not friendly things. You Like if me and him was split up, yes, we would be friends, but there would be no, oh, I miss you. I'm gonna send you this, that. No, you can't.
No, I didn't send her anything. I want y'all to know she sent me everything.
Because it made it seem like, and of course, I know better than to think this now, but it made it seem like he liked the attention, and I'm feeling like, oh, he get off on the fact that two women want him. That's what that is. But
And and she later realized that I don't get off on the fact that two women want me. That's not my stilo. That ain't my style. Period.
like he's. I used to think a lot of things about him that I don't think no more. Like I used to think he was like a big attention whore because he used to always have to be in some girl's face. He just couldn't help himself. He just couldn't help it. He used to always have to compliment people and do all that. But at the same time, like I said, I get the pain that Tiffany is in, but at the same time, you can't push your nigga away for a nigga that's moved on. Like that's not gonna serve you. Cause
Right,
even
right,
if push Rob completely away, Emmett is still gonna be with Keisha.
right.
Now, what you can be thankful for is the fact that Emmett is a great father to your son.
Yeah,
You can be grateful for that and thankful that you don't have to go through the baby daddy headaches that most women have to go through. Be thankful for that. Move on with your nigga, who's a great nigga, by the way. And he's trying, but he's not going to keep allowing Emmett to be at the forefront of your mind. Like, he's just not
and
going
I wouldn't either. Me personally, but
to,
that's just me.
like, you talk about Emmett at nauseum when it comes to him and Keisha, and dude is like, that shit happens. And
Yeah,
you get upset at the comment, but what he's trying to say is that you landed on your feet. You with somebody. It's not like you single and struggling and looking and you still thinking about him. And where was all this give a care when y'all was married?
I was just about to say that. Where was all this? And see, that's the thing that's the thing for me that I had a problem with my ex is that where was all this give a care when we was together? And I ain't gonna lie, because I loved her, I really did. So much so that I tried to change, not knowing that you can't change nobody, not knowing that you can't. If they're gonna be that way, they're gonna be that way regardless of what you want. Period.
And I just felt like, you know, because I'm friends, I'm going to get a little bit more personal and then we're going to get back to it. I'm friends with a lot of exes. I don't have a problem being a friend to my ex because my ex was a person before he was my boyfriend. So I'm cool with being cool with exes. But here's the thing about that:
Hey,
being cool with exes is fine
Natasha,
until your ex starts jumping out of the
Latoya
the friend box.
Williams. Hey,
As long as your ex can stay your friend and respect your boundaries, being friends with your ex is completely fine. And the problem I had was his with his ex is that he didn't do that. And some people come back into your life just to see if they can get you to do certain things. It's not that they really want you or anything like that. They just want to see if they still got the power that they once had. And sometimes you find out, hey man, that nigga he's really done with that. And that reality hurts, but at the same time, you knew you was gonna find it out some kind of way. So, it hurts when you see the person you was with be loyal to someone else, but they wasn't nowhere near as loyal to you. Yeah, that sucks. But it is what it is. So then we get to the scene. I want to talk about this scene with Shy and Fatima. Fatima, look, when you got involved with Shy, you know he can't be all public and this and that. And
Yeah,
you know that he's not in a position to where he can be just, hey, this my lady. He's not in that space.
because he's in politics.
And even if he wasn't, because he wasn't in that when he was with Imani, but maybe he's just not comfortable being public like that. Maybe he's just not ready for something like that.
Yes,
So
in which I try to. I'm one of those people. I'm not comfortable with public displays of affection, but I know I have to meet Jasmine where she is. She's comfortable with that. I'm not.
'cause I
So I
no
have to meet her in the middle.
because I know it's you know uncomfortable for him, and I'm just so open and free and don't give a damn. And I know he's not that. So I do try to tone it down a little bit. I know that he's not exactly comfortable with
Hmm.
all that. Just because I'm free and don't get no type of damn, everybody's not like that. I've been this way for about the last 10, 15 years. So, I'm just used to, girl, it is what it is, honey. But I know that's not him. Now, I'm not saying that he can't change, but right now, that ain't him. So, yeah, and she's all upset and like, I'll think about it and da 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 da. And it's like, if you really want somebody that's gonna claim you publicly and do all this and that, then move on to somebody else. Then if him keeping you a secret makes you upset, move on to somebody else.
And that's what I say too. Let me read this comment. There at Raffiari, good to see you. Just dropped by. I'm glad you dropped by. I'm glad you dropped by. Glad you dropped by. There you go.
And it's like, um, so they
Hmm.
going to dinner later on, but and then we want to get to this scene where they go to dinner with Shy and Dave. Now, I like Shy. Shy's my guy. I support Shy. I'm here for Shy. But Shy was doing a little bit too much for me last night. And yeah, he was kind of doing the most. Complimenting Sierra every chance that he got. And it was just too much. Too much. He kept saying how pretty she was and how she was good enough to eat and yada yada.
It's fine.
Like I get you complimenting a woman, but
It's very,
sometimes
it's very interesting.
it's too much. Like sometimes it's like, okay, we got it. Stop.
Yeah.
So that upset Deja. And
Mhm.
we go through this in our real lives, by the way. So that's why I kind of chuckled at this scene because he doesn't understand that, yo, you complimenting a woman is fine, but don't go overboard. Like one compliment, another compliment. Oh, wait, there goes
See you
another one.
next time.
And it's like he doesn't
See
understand why that
you.
drives me up the wall in pissivity when he does that. Because it's like, girl, you act like you don't see me here or something. Like he, I've seen,
Right.
I've seen Raphael um compliment women,
Oh wow.
and I have said, okay, that's enough.
Mm-hmm.
And he thinks it's insecurity on my part because he's like, I love you. I just like to compliment people. What's wrong with that? It's nothing wrong with that, but you ain't gotta do it every 5 seconds. That woman knows she pretty. You ain't the first man to ever tell her that in her life.
Ex's man is better to his girlfriend that has that he has to do everything for. It wasn't like that with me because I own my home. I get that, and it's fine.
And it's like, it
I
triggers
get that.
his feelings because Shy kept complimenting Tierra, so Trig got all in his feelings. Which I don't understand what's going on with Trig for real. Because either you want Tierra or you don't.
But but I'm just gonna be devil's advocate. He doesn't want Tierra by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, why he always getting in his feelings when somebody compliment her? Every time Rashad complimented her, Victor just over there just rolling all of his eyes like if you don't want the
I
girl
gotta go eat. I'll see y'all
and
later.
and you
Okay.
and you want
See you later.
Fatima, then you know you can't get mad if somebody looking at Sierra if you want Fatima. That's all I'm saying. Pick a side, sir. Pick a side. Stop being all over the place, Victor. Cause it's like, girl, what happened? And then, and then we get to the point to where Deja and Shy have a little tiff, a little spat or whatever, and she storm off. And then later on, here comes Sierra with all of her gorgeousness. Cause when you see a gorgeous black woman, you gotta say so. So she
Mm-hmm.
all her melanin and her gorgeousness, and she gets shy to kiss her and all that. So he basically cheated on Deja, which is gonna be ooh.
But Deja, I felt like Deja went too far. I felt like Deja went too far on oh boy. He was just giving a woman a compliment.
But he gave her too many. First he said she was pretty. Then said she was good enough. She looked good enough to eat. Then he said she was a queen. Then he said You better pay attention to her. Ain't she just lovely? Like he just kept going on and on and on.
Hey, okay, okay. I'm not about to play with you. Listen, listen, listen. I'm not gonna do all of what he did just because if I'm with my now that's something that you gotta learn, my man. You can't you can compliment your woman, you can say how gorgeous she is, but you can't compliment another woman in her face.
And he just kept going. And it was just like, okay, shot, we get it. Okay, got it. And I think he wanted Sierra the whole time. That's why he was telling Victor, hey man, you better pay attention to her. But Shy really wanted Sierra for himself. But hey.
No, I don't believe that, but okay.
Why was he kissing somebody he don't want? Like I
She kissed him first. Um,
oh, so now because she kissed him first is justified. Okie dokie.
it's
Oh,
not just. It's never justified in my book.
I'm just saying. And I think Shy and Tierra might be a little something something too.
Hey Ray,
I ain't got nothing against Miss Deja, but girl, it is what it is. And then Kevin is like the sweetest little boy on this show
yes,
because he bought
it's
a
a
gift that was so
it,
thoughtful.
it's a cancer thing. It's a cancer thing. It's a cancer thing.
He bought her a gift for Valentine's Day that was so thoughtful. And when he did that, I was looking at this guy to the left because he bought her a gift based on what she into. I was looking at this guy to the left,
Why
like
would what? Okay, because when she say guy to the left, she's talking about me. So what what do you mean?
that's what I mean by thoughtful gifts. He knew she was into the stars and cosmos and all that, and he got her a gift based off of that thoughtfulness. He didn't just say, "Oh, I'll get her this. Here you go."
But I'm very thoughtful too.
I'm not saying you not. I'm not saying you not, but you always ask me what you mean by thoughtfulness. That's what I mean. You always ask me what I mean. So I was saying what I meant. And I think Bakari got a little thing for Lene. Uh oh. Uh oh. If Bakari and Lene become a thing, baby, um, that's gonna be interesting. If Bakari and Lene become a thing, that's gonna be so interesting. Then we get to the part where Darnell proposes to Jada. Now, I was here for this, but I just don't trust Darnell like that. Look, I'm not trying to be a cynic, but I just don't trust Darnell. I don't trust that guy. I don't trust him because he didn't even know it was Valentine's Day. So how was he getting all? How was he even thinking about proposing to her when he didn't even know it was Valentine's Day? And I believe he's marrying her to prove to everybody that he has changed. And that's not a good reason to do that. That's not a good reason to do that. Marry her because you want to, not because you're trying to prove a point. And then Emmett gives Keisha a spa day. Now you know us women love our spa days, honey. Like we can do some spa stuff. Okay.
I'm back, y'all. I'm
Like
sorry. I don't know what just happened, but I'm back.
like I was just telling them about the scene where Emmett got Keisha her little spa day and got her little relaxing hotel, honey. Like he I used to couldn't stand Emmett when this show first started. I ain't gonna lie because I've been with so many guys that was like him. So minus the children, by the way, because Emmett got 50, 11 kids. But I like the new Emmett. I like the new Emmett. I like the mature Emmett. See, the thing about me is I'm a fully developed adult. And so because of that, I'm gonna need a mature man that knows how to handle situations in a mature fashion. I don't need a grown boy, which is a grown man in terms of age, but immature as F. Yeah, that's not gonna work at all. Like that's not gonna work. Like you 28, but you got the mindset of an 18-year old. Like that's not gonna work.
But you have some men that are like that. You have some men that are like that in their sixties.
I mean, I know it exists, but I'm just saying that it ain't gonna work for somebody. Me, you have to be, if you are of a mature age, you have to be a mature person. You can't be, I'm a big kid now, doom doom, because
Take care. You too.
I'm
Okay,
just
we
not
will.
pay attention to you. Because I talk about it all the time. When I first met him, whoo, Lord, I had to hold on to my seat belt, honey. Because when you talk about immaturity, bro,
I was
it,
the I was the definition.
it just came like rain pouring down in the forecast. And I said, oh no, ma'am, we ain't gonna be able to do this. But
Mhm.
he got better and he grew up, and thank God, because I didn't think that he was, but thank God. Thank God he did. Now I look,
But I just think Tiff needs to grow up a little bit because she not accepting the fact that he's changed. Because Tiff and Keisha, they had a conversation. They had a conversation, and she was like, "Oh well," she was saying some, and then Keisha was like, "Emmett changed."
she said, "How I know? How you know he ain't gonna do you like he did me?" And Keisha was like, Man, he ain't like that no more."
What is going on?
And this thing with Papa and Bakari is just getting on my nerves. Like, Hold on, y'all. But all right, you know,
Technical difficulties, technical difficulties, but I fixed it.
like, what is the deal with Papa? Like, why he just so? er,
And why is he writing this guy, and he wrote a whole letter and gave it to
The
Kevin's roommate, I guess.
I'm good. Yeah, he wrote a whole letter to the Nay. I like what he said. Um,
But me personally, I don't think it's going to work out for his greater good. Because I don't think it's going to work out for his greater good or for hers. Because he is a person that like to get in a whole bunch of trouble.
yeah,
So my thing is, Papa, you made the wrong move.
but Papa struck me as a type that ain't never really had no friends before, and he just seemed like he's desperate for some kind of acceptance.
Yeah.
And it's just getting. I want to break that mold. Of, I'm a preacher's kid. I want to break that mold, and it's like, Papa, this ain't the way. And, and it's like you just gotta know when to stay away from people. And Papa feel like he ain't got nothing to lose no way, so he don't even care.
Yeah. But he did. I like the way Papa told him, you need to go and apologize to Jake and Gemma.
Yeah, because you did cause that, honey. Like you didn't directly cause it.
But you caused it. So you need to go and apologize to them. And if you don't, that's going to be a problem.
If you don't apologize, I feel like if he don't apologize, Papa shouldn't be cool with him no more.
But
But but we
but
all
that
still
but that but that's the thing. We don't know if Papa is just going to say yes or no.
that would be that would be my stipulation. But at the same time, I want to point this out too. People saying, well, Jake and Papa is friends and he should be riding with Jake and what he's going through and yada yada. Maybe Papa don't consider Jake his friend. You
Yeah,
know,
I was thinking that too.
maybe Papa don't consider, Kevin and Jake was always hanging together. That doesn't mean that Papa and
Because
Jake had a bond because Kevin and Jake had a bond. They might have all three been around each other because Papa might have been just around. That don't mean that Jake and Papa had a bond because Kevin and Jake had a bond. They could just been hanging with each other based on you're friends with my friend, so I'm gonna hang with you.
Right. Right.
You
That
know,
don't mean nothing.
because I've been in situations where people have been really cool with friends of mine that I was close to. And we was always around each other, but that don't mean me and that other person had a bond because they was around because they was cool with my friends. So they was around and I just happened to be around my friend and it happened like that. So, bonds matter. You can't just hang
Yeah.
with everybody just because somebody know your friend or know your cousin or know your brother.
Yeah.
That don't mean you gonna have a bond with them because they know somebody that you know. That's not always the case. Now, sometimes that does happen, but that's not always the case. And
That's not that's not always the case.
cause I know people that know my friends, I be like, I don't mess with them.
Exactly. It's not always the case. Now I wanna move a little bit forward. So I wanna move to the engagement scene. No, I'm moving too fast. I wanna move to the scene where Emmett goes to his dad's house and he was like, "Hey, Tiff tried to sleep with me last night."
And he like, well, did you do it? And he was like, hell no.
This is where me and Bay had to disagree, and she understood me after I gave her a couple of examples
Because
because I said he need to be honest with Keisha just because. And she was like, "Oh, why?" And I said, "Well, what if somebody decided to jump on me at the club or something like that?" And then she was like, "Okay, now I get it."
because at first I was like, because he immediately said, I agree with his dad. He needs to tell Keisha what happened. I'm like, but he didn't do nothing. Nothing happened. He like, babe, that's not the point.
Exactly. That
How-
ain't the point.
I'm like, well, how's that not the point? So, and I'm just like, I understand where he was coming from now, of course. But at first, I was like, the man ain't even do nothing. What he got to tell?
Yeah. And I gave her some examples. I gave her some real good ones. Cause it's like, yeah,
And he was talking about, well, you got to have honesty in your relationship and you have to be truthful. And I'm just like, but he didn't do nothing.
it don't matter if he did something or not. The point is he gotta be honest. If he's saying that he a changed man, he gotta be honest.
I mean, yeah,
That comes along with it. Sorry, but if you're a changed person, you have to be honest and tell and be like, look, this is what happened.
because his philosophy on it was, even though nothing did happen, he was in a position where something could have happened. And then it would have been like a whole mess. So he was like, he would have told her if something happened. So why wouldn't he tell her in this scenario? I'm like, oh, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And you could tell her this with a lot more freeness because you didn't do nothing. Instead of being forced to tell her, like, hey, I'm.
You you could tell her this, and that's what I was explaining to Jasmine. I'm like, I gave her some really good examples.
And I'm like, it was a situation to where I'm gonna tell y'all another personal story that me and him went through because it was a situation to where his used to come over a lot, which was fine in my book because they had the friendship before we met, whatever the case. Um, we would be on the phone and he would just like, I'm gonna call you back, whatever. I would wait at least a couple of hours, and then if I didn't hear from him, I'd be like, "Hey, you said you was coming back. What happened?" And then when he finally would come back, he would say, "Oh, Brianna was over here," and I'm like, "Well, why you just didn't text me and tell me she was there? Like you just left." And I'm thinking you coming back and you had company and you could have told me that, oh, well, my best friend's here, whatever, yada yada. Even though he know how I feel about her, but that's beside the point, though. The point is, he could have told me that she was there. Even though they didn't do nothing, nothing happened. I didn't even know the girl was even there. And I'm like, I don't know why your best friend is coming over at almost 10 o'clock at night, but hey, what do I know? It ain't my house. Um, so I got his point. Like, you gotta be honest with your mate, even if you don't do nothing. Like, don't always wait till you do something to be honest all of a sudden. Like, that's not fair. Like, don't only be honest when you mess up. Be honest because you're an honest person, not because you messed up. Because that's not fair. And it's like, I hope he do tell Keisha, and I hope Keisha doesn't overreact. Cause she could be one of those type of chicks to be like, well, why would you let her in? Why would you this? And why would you that?
Yep,
I hope that she be like, well, I'm gonna have to talk to Tiff about it.
yep. I
Be-
hope she be like that too.
Because
Be-
Tiff was the one that tried to initiate. And it was like, I'm in a relationship. This is what he told Tiff.
right.
She tried to kiss him and he like turned away and he was like, I'm in a relationship that never stopped you before. And this is the problem I have with that comment. If somebody is trying to change, you can't treat them like the old person
Right.
because that's fair. That's not fair. You can't treat Emmett like the old Emmett because this ain't him. Like, I'm gonna say something else. Like in the beginning of our relationship, we had a lot of issues with infidelity, and it was just a mess. But Raphael is a better man now. I can't treat him like a nigga that know me and whatnot
Hmm.
because that's not fair.
It ain't.
Because he's trying to change. Because most niggas don't change or they try. They like you knew what it was when you got with me, and I don't like those type of niggas. But there's a lot of niggas out here that are like that. So if somebody's trying to change, respect their change that they're trying to make. Don't just say you the same old nigga. Yeah. Cause that's not fair. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna get a little personal on myself. I had a reputation of somebody who messed around a lot. I never really took relationships that seriously. When I was young. I didn't really, I didn't consider anything really like cheating or whatever because I never took the relationship that serious in the first place. But it's like he's been hurt before. And when I say he, I'm talking about this guy to the left. He's been cheated on a lot, and so have I. And I always make the joke that if he would have met me 10 years ago, our relationship would be a different story, right? Because I was a different person back then. I was trash back. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't consider nothing I did cheating because I didn't really take the relationship that serious to call it cheating anyway. And I'm just like, it is what I broke a lot of hearts when I was young and stupid, and I could say that with confidence. I was young and stupid, um, and broke a lot of hearts and left a lot of hearts behind me. And I paid for that later on in my life. Things that I did when I was in my teens, I paid for when I got older. And he know why. He know what I'm talking about when I say that. Um, it's like now he feel like it's my ex cheated on me and all this stuff, and I cheated on you, of course. I feel like you gonna do me the same way, and I'm like, nah, that ain't really my thing no more. I ain't been like that in about 15 years. Cause I grew up and I realized that I can't talk about a nigga hurting me if I'm out here hurting people in the same way. I can't say, oh, what's wrong with him? Why he doing me like this when I'm doing other people like that?
Mhm.
That's not how that works. I can't be all crying up in the ball talking about he cheating on me and I'm doing other people the same way that this person did me. That's not the way it works. So I grew up a lot and he got the grown up version of me. That's who he got when he met me. He didn't get the kid version of me because when I was his age, he 27. I was getting better at 27, but I was still like,
Right.
and once I got about 30, that I realized that hey, all that uh, breaking people's hearts and saying it is what it is ain't cool because when you be on the other side of that, it don't feel so good. It don't feel so good when it's your turn.
Right.
And
It,
a
it,
lot of people make excuses of well, I've been hurt all my life and do and people ain't care about me when I was hurt. I get that. But that's why you supposed to be better. Because
right.
you do all that. Because you've been disregarded. Because nobody cared when you was hurt. That's the reason why you supposed to care, because then nobody care about you.
Correct.
So now it's like I don't even think about, you know, I don't I don't I don't even think about cheating on him. And I know I can. I obviously know that I can. I'm not stupid. But just because I know I can doesn't mean that I want to. Because I've had people do that to me and not think about it. Like, well, it is what it is. And I hate that response to like hurtful things. Like when people do stuff hurtful, they just be like, well, I'm sorry you feel like that. You're not really sorry though. You just hate that I'm talking about it. And I want to say one thing before we get off. Maybe a couple things. I just felt like when I was saying about Raphael X moving on during their relationship, and it has nothing to do with how I feel about her personally, because I've had some personal feelings about her way before him.
Yeah, because she knew her before I knew her.
So I just felt like he wasn't being treated well in their relationship anyway. Even if she wasn't cheating, I ain't gonna lie, cheating is wrong. But even if she wasn't cheating, because that's what that was. Let's just call a thing a thing.
Yeah, let's just call a thing a thing.
Even if she wasn't cheating on him and doing it out in the open. Because, see, I'm the coldest cheat in the world. I'm the type that cheat underground. You won't know his name, won't know his address, won't know what he looked like. And I do that to you for years and you won't know nothing about it. But she was so bold. She was just cheating out in the open. And I feel like cheating is one thing, but to do it completely out in the open and just do like you don't have a relationship, like there's nothing for you to answer to behind these actions. It's just irresponsible. That's irresponsible. That's you know, like even if I was to cheat on him, he would he would never know outside of me telling him. I wouldn't do it so in the open and so blatant, like, yeah, I'm cheating, so what? Who cares? Woo! Like, no, that's not the way you do that if you're going to do that. At least have enough respect for your partner to not let them just see. Like, that's just rude and wrong and disrespectful, and that means you don't have no respect for that person. They
Right.
already feel like you don't respect them, but the way you cheat tells more than you just cheating. It tells more. Like when you start telling details of, oh, we was doing this and we did, bro, your partner don't want to hear that. They already hurt, and now you got to come with details of how it was and this and that. Hey, bro, no, I'm not a details person anyway, so even if I did mess around on him, I'm not about to share the details with him. That's just rude. Because
Yep.
now you just rubbing it in like, yeah, we was in this position and we did this and da. Bruh, don't you know cheating hurts? And I
Yeah.
feel she didn't handle his feelings with any care at all. She was just like, and this is the main thing that I want to
But this is
say.
the whole thing that Jasmine is not realizing, and I keep telling her, she was she wanted him for the money, for the bag. I didn't have a bag at the time. I'm trying to get one now, but that's a
And
different
and
circumstance.
my response to that is, if she wanted him, there's a way to get him without hurting somebody. There's a way to do it without doing all that. If you want him, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with not wanting the person that you're with. There's nothing wrong with that. People go through that every day where they wake up and realize they don't want who they're with. But it's the way you exit. It's the way you exit. It's not the exit itself. It's the way.
UX. I agree.
It's like, you can exit, but there's a right way to do this. And if you love and care about the person, you're going to exit in a respectful fashion. Not just, oh, I met this person, I'm gone. Bye. That's not the way you
She
exit.
didn't, but she didn't. She didn't exit from me. I exited from her.
But she
I
exited you way before. you exited from her. She was spending more time with him. She was around him. She was taking gifts from him. They was in a whole relationship, a whole thing. Not, and it's like it gets a little funny when you start spending time with another person way more than your man. No man, like that's a no ma'am. Like I have no problem with him spending time with his friends. I don't care about that at all. But when it gets to a point to where he's with them on a more consistent basis than me, it's like, okay, what's going on here? I get they your friends, but why you around them more than you around me? And that's how feelings develop when you around people.
Correct.
You know, when you constantly going out of town and doing things with people, that's how feelings can develop. Even emotional feelings, like when you constantly talking to somebody and your man ain't never around and he always doing what his thing and you got time to talk to all these other people, that's how you develop an emotional bond. And you know, people's main excuses, well, you ain't never around, so let me just do. That's not the way. That's not the way. I'm not an out of sight, out of mind individual. When I'm
Right.
not around, when I'm not around Raphael, I'm still representing our relationship. I could be across the world. Don't matter. Like you can't. Well, they not here, so let me just do whatever I want to do because they not here. Like you can't do that in relationships. You gotta stay plugged into your relationship at all times, whether you across the world or whether you right there. You gotta stay mentally plugged in. Cause I'm gonna throw out this stat: 75% of relationships end in the mind way before they physically end. A lot of people check out before they physically check out. Like a lot of people break up with you in their head before they ever break up with you. And that's the worst thing because you don't know. You don't
Right. I feel like that's the worst thing too.
because that person doesn't know that their partner has mentally checked out. They have no idea because they're still mentally plugged into the relationship and everything. So think like that and the whole time they partner just and when your partner mentally checks out, either he or she is getting attention from somebody else, or if that's not the case, they're looking to get attention from someone else. So that sort of thing is very scary. That's why I'm plugged into my relationship like a computer plugged into the charger, nigga. I'm always plugged in because you gotta be
Yeah.
because you can't plug unplug because when you start when your mate has a lot of free time and have a lot of time to talk to a lot of other people, that's that's dangerous. That's a dangerous game. That's actually how I met him.
Yeah.
Cause my boyfriend was always gone all the time. He was always off doing his own thing. He was never really around much. So that's how I had time to meet Raphael in the first place. Cause my nigga was never here. He was never here. And you know, it's different when you just not around versus when you have a job that keeps you busy or something like that. But even that, like you still gotta make time for that
Yep.
person. I get the world gets busy and all of that, and I understand. The world gets busy. You know, people get busy. They got jobs and everything and lives. But you can't let your relationship get lost in all that. Especially if you love the part. Like I be on a whole nother coast. I still make time for him. I still text him like, even though I'm not there, I'm gonna text you. Or I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna check in. I'm gonna let you know that hey, you still got, you still got a relationship. It's just cause I'm over here don't mean that I done
Yep.
checked out. Like, and this the key. If you check out on somebody, let them know. Like, hey, I've mentally checked out. That might not be a comfortable conversation to have, but have it. Don't just have them thinking that you're mentally plugged in and you're all there and you're this and that. Meanwhile, you done checked out like 6 months ago. That's not fair. That's
Right.
I got deal like that. So that's how I know. Cause my man before him checked out way before we broke up, honey. He checked out some years before. And I know that because he told me that like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, yeah, I mentally checked out. That's why I was always gone all the time. Cause I mentally checked out of the relationship and was looking for other attention and this and that. Y'all, we going on an hour, so we gonna get off of this thing, man.
Yep.
But oh, babe, tell them. Oh, I should tell y'all the good news. So, okay, we missed. Well, we didn't miss, but we didn't really grab P Valley. But now that we've gotten a chance to watch a whole season, which is season two,
Yeah.
we decided that when they come back for season three, that will be added to the lineup. And the way season two ended, I kind of want to go back and watch season one and find out how all this started because season two was my first season of P Valley. I never watched it. I've always known what it was. I just never watched it. But we gonna be reviewing that when they come back in 23. I love Uncle Cliff and the Little Murder. I don't care what nobody say. Y'all can say what y'all want. But the type of love they got, look, I got that in real life. So I know what Uncle Cliff feel when it comes to Little Murder. Cause I feel that about this man to the left every day. So I'm happy that Little Murder finally, I guess you could say, came out the closet or whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. I'm just glad people know they together now. Cause that whole secret thing got annoying. So I'm just glad that the people know that they in a relationship and I hope somebody killed Derek for real. Cause he just child, let me get off this thing before I go into
Yeah.
P-Valley. Let me get off of here, y'all. We will be back for episode 9. We have a 2 week break. So
Yeah.
we will be back on.
And in the meanwhile, uh, and in the meantime, between time, we will be bringing y'all some more content. We
We
will
got
be bringing.
we got more content things. Well, the size on their 2 week hiatus. They come back around my birthday, which is lovely. But anyway, y'all, we gonna go and we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye bye.
Bye bye.